Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the goddamn show. Now, this is, and the winter especially, is a whole plethora of very important videos. So I need to emphasize the importance of not missing one of these episodes. So make sure you click on that notification bell. And before I start, I do just want to let you know, it'd be awesome if you guys could check out my Universe Mode series. It's not aimed to only entertain, but you may get some inspiration if you're a content creator out there of how you can edit your Universe Mode. I have made a video previously how I edit my Universe Mode, and how I make all the graphics. So all the tools are there on the channel. But this particular episode, I'm talking about how I book my Universe Mode. Now, you might be saying, who the hell are you to tell me how to book my Universe Mode? Now, the purpose of this video is to inspire and sort of get the cogs ticking in your head for you to adapt maybe what I do in some aspects, if not, I'm not saying everything I do is right. I'm saying what I do leads me to having in my opinion, an enjoyable product, one that works, one that feels realistic, and one that's alive. So my first port of call, as you can see, the spreadsheet I'm going to make before I go on and talk about it. This spreadsheet will be in the description. You have to click File and make a copy here. Obviously, the rosters, you're going to have to change yourself to whatever it is you use, but this is free to use. There's nothing really complicated about it. It's quite a simple thing. You replace the images. I've left SmackDowns and Raw logos usually down here, just so you can drag them, because I don't know what day that you're on, and then you can save it that way. So the first part of call, what I did is, it's a crazy concept, and it's probably going to scare you, but I do not create my Universe Mode with a vision of 4 weeks. I create my Universe Mode with a vision of how can we get to point A to point B being the release of the next game. So I have had to work a little bit harder, seeing as the reset in my Universe Mode came in, I believe it was October or whenever it was. So I already am aware that WrestleMania and my timeline might be a bit messed up, but I'm aware that I'll have to book 2 WrestleManias, and that's something that I have planned. It's not something that I recommend, but if you can do it, that's great. So there's a lot of things I consider when I'm planning out my Universe Mode. So for you guys, booking the whole year, so when 2K26 comes out, booking till 2K27, you know that the release is March roughly. So I always plan my Universe Mode till the end of February, and that's exactly what I've done for 2K25. In this video, it's going to be a very watered down version of the whole year. It's going to be what I did for 2K25, not revealing what happens in the episodes, but just like to give you a visual aid. And I know you're just looking at a still spreadsheet. So the first thing I did was create up until February 2027, because obviously, like I said, I wanna be covered for this game and the next game. Now, don't be overwhelmed. This is completely normal, even in professional wrestling, to plan ahead. Things change, and that is the case. But being pre-prepared and kind of having a direction where you kind of want to go in long term always helps and makes it more easier, reduces the stress of booking on the fly, and allows you to enjoy your Universe Mode more as a product. So one of the first things I do when setting up this calendar, and and you should in any wrestling promotion, is of course I look at like the weekly shows. When does it fit my schedule to record Raw, SmackDown, and of course I do TNA and Speed on a Sunday? Well, they're nice and spread out. It leaves me Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturdays for PLEs, but it leaves me Monday, Wednesday, Thursday to do a tutorial video, something to... Right, so back into it. Oh, sorry, I got a distraction. I kept getting a pop-up on my screen. Sorry. So obviously I plan my weekly shows when it fits in with my life, my content schedule, everything like that. And then obviously I try to go with the schedule that there is 12 PLEs in a year, or a 12-month period. On top of that, I also like to do Saturday night's main events. And there's a couple of things that I look at when I'm planning the PLEs, and the first thing being the big 4 I keep. I choose to only have 1 gimmick PLE as opposed to 2. or 3 or whatever it is. So the big 4 obviously being Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, not in that order obviously, but gimmick pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call them, Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, I can't think, Elimination Chamber, them kind of things. I try to only have one of them because the way I write my universe mode, it's more story orientated than I don't want gimmicks to decide too heavily what I do, because obviously if you have a 6-man match, for example, you don't always have full control of what's going to happen, even if you play it. So the first thing I do is I consider the 12 PLEs. So I have 5 PLEs there, including the big 4, 1 gimmick, which normally leaves around 7. Then what I tend to do is I have a look at some current PLEs that I like. So with the remaining 7, what I will do is there's no definite number, but obviously we've got 7 left. I'd probably reduce that down to 6. I'd probably pick 3 current day PLEs and 3 of my favourite from the past. So for example, for my universe mode, in this universe mode, I've chose WrestlePalooza, I've chose Crown Jewel, and I believe I chose Elimination Chamber, but it's not going to be the same sort of gimmick, if that makes sense. And then I've gone on and chose the Great American Bash, Bad Blood, which is a recent one, but I'm just gonna, and I think I'm gonna do maybe Hell in a Cell or Extreme Rules. I haven't decided, or One Night Stand. I haven't decided yet. So first and foremost, it's planning your weekly shows, how many weekly shows you're gonna run, how many PLEs you're gonna run. Saturday night's main event. Now, obviously, if you schedule every PLE on, let me find one. Oh, this has got a Saturday night's main event. So if you schedule every PLE on like a Saturday, the last Saturday of every month, you don't always have to have a 4-week build. What you can do, and what I sometimes do, is every 3 to 4 months is I place a Saturday night's main event in there. And the reason I do that, Saturday night's main event, when I book that, is mainly focused on upper mid-carders. It may feature like a really big match on there, but it's kind of focused on upper mid-carders, and giving other people the spotlight. I keep it simple. My universe is pretty simple. I mean, I don't have the logos now. I can copy them across. So if you want to know what mine looks like, I don't know where we just were. This is how my schedule looks like. This is how it fits into my life. I know it's not exactly to size. This isn't updated, but I do speed, alternate, and then obviously I've Impact as well. So that's kind of how my calendar looks for a month. Obviously not always with Saturday night's main event. Sometimes it can look like that, and imagine that's any PLE. Sometimes it looks like that. And I'm going to talk specifically on each brand. So with WWE, how I like to do it is, if we go over to rosters, this is personal preference and it's what works for me. And I'll tell you about all the keys I've used and everything. I haven't in this version, I haven't assigned everyone as correct sort of role in my universe mode. So what I do is I assign a general manager. We'll talk more about auxiliary personnel in another WrestleVerse episode. So for Raw, I've picked Adam Pearce. And obviously Raw is an all-men's brand. I'll talk a little bit about how I came to this conclusion. SmackDown is an all-women's brand. Speed is unique because Speed has members of Raw and SmackDown, as you can see here. I don't know if I've labelled them all 100% accurate to my universe mode, but where it says dual contract here is where they're signed to either SmackDown or Raw. With WWE, how I drafted Raw was I picked... I had a set number of people that I would use, and I didn't want to go above that. And I picked the people that I liked, people that other people like, and I made sure that the star power was balanced. And the way I did that was to break down here. You can see I have a 9. I believe it's 9. Well, 9 it says here. These colour codes are just, ignore them. I'll talk about the gold ones are just rubbish. The red ones are inactive. So if they're injured or they're away doing something, I mean, I did start putting the injury signs on, but all of these guys are injured in my universe mode the time I made this spreadsheet, so I've wrote them off. Blue is either hasn't debuted or is suspended, or it can be something like blue eye is just a mental thing for me. I just use it as like they're just not there right now. The names that are in white are all active, and you might see someone like Penta has speed. When I put, obviously you don't want to show anyone this this spreadsheet who watches universe mode, but when I put speed next to them, you can see it with Carmelo, you can see it with Penta. I believe it should be on Roxanne Perez on Raw, on SmackDown, sorry. When it says speed, or I put Vic because she's away. When I put speed on, it means they're predominantly appearing on speed for a short period of time. And you might be asking, why do I do that? So essentially, if you can see here, my men's world division is quite saturated. Obafemi should technically be blue because he hasn't appeared yet. So Obafemi would be blue. I like to keep a rotation of no more than 6, really, in any division. So if you look down on my list, Eddie Guerrero is a part-time contract. So he is going to be like pretty for the next couple of years, but he's on a part-time contract. So I tend to use 6 full-time contenders, which would be Aleister Black, Bren, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Ilya Dragunov. They would be my 6 that I'd use around the main event for this period of time. Usually what I'd do is, if it gets to the next quarter or I feel there's something that I need to change, what I would do is, for example, Aleister Black would go to speed. That would -1. Obafemi's debuted, so he can come to white. So next month we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ignore Eddie Guerrero. In fact, I'll put Eddie Guerrero in like an orange, just because he's a legend. So the white ones are the active. If you scroll down to midcard's a bit bigger. I do try and keep the 6 rule though. And what I do is, if you can see here, Penta, Carmelo Hayes are both on speed. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're my active talent for this month. When Hangman Adam Page debuts, what will likely happen is when he changes to white, Dolph Ziggler will go to blue, or he will go to red. Blue is like, just to give you some insight, blue is non-story related or non-injury. Like, it's not an injury, it's like blue is just they're aware, they've requested time off, they're taking a break. He's obviously got a sporadic contract anyway, so that kind of would make sense in this instance. With tag teams, I only ever keep 4 active, so I haven't put it on the actual spreadsheet, but of course this is what's actually going on. So Dominic Mysterio at the moment is appearing on speed. Shakon Sugars of Dark State, representing Dark State, is on speed, which means the other members of Dark State will be on speed. The MFTs are injured, which leaves Motor City Machine Guns, Wyatt 6, who are sporadic anyway, Fraxium, and the MBO. So I have 4 tag teams that are active in this period. There is no set time you should have this period. You can change it every week, you can change it every month, you can change it every 3 months. I change it when I feel like I want to go in a new direction, and I shuffle things around. And you might be saying, how does that impact speed? And that is applicable for SmackDown too, and that's why I do speed. I rotate talent out, give them time somewhere else to get some wins under the belt, some airtime. Is speed a 4th or even a 3rd show? Absolutely not. Speed is not aimed to be a flagship show. It's not aimed to be a view hoarder. It's aimed to keep the universe mode that I've created and the characters that are in there alive. It includes huge superstars in my universe mode like Penta, Javon Evans, Carmelo, Roxanne, Liv, Dominic at the moment. Obviously they are dual contracted in my universe mode to Raw and SmackDown, respective if they're a man or a woman. If they're a woman, they're on SmackDown. If they're a man, they're on Raw. But at the moment they're on speed. So you might be like, what the hell is speed? Speed's going to have 1 million people. Well, actually not. So here's the interesting thing about WWE Speed. You look right away. What's the first thing you notice? Short-term contracts. So unlike Raw and SmackDown, obviously Axiom's dual contracts, a lot of the people that are on Speed are featured on Raw and SmackDown. You do have a couple of people like Johnny Gargano whose contract's set to expire at the end of 2K25, and I'll talk a little bit about contract length after I've finished how I do TNA, because you may be able to you may be able to do that to your own eFed or if you do an external promotion. If you can see in red here, one thing I've done here with contracts, these guys are leaving soon. That's why they're red. Part-time, 1 year. Chances are in my universe mode, these two are done. Victoria has a 1-year contract, but I think I wrote her to retire at the end of 2026. So the thing about Speed and the difference between Speed and Raw is Speed is always evolving. And when the new roster of 2K26 comes out, the new roster of 2K27 comes out, you can rotate in talent so easily. Start them on Speed. If they do well, go up to Raw, SmackDown, bring someone down who's maybe not performing. And that is my system for WWE. So Speed is not a third brand as such. I would say it's more of a minor show, but it's a great, unique show. Championships there, storyline's unique, and it's managed by Vicky Guerrero. So, of course, it is very different. Now, TNA is a little bit different. You might notice on my TNA roster, ignore the championships and everything. This is for you to customize. This is a copy. I would not leak my actual spreadsheet because it's got all the results on there. I'm pretty sure that the gold people on the spreadsheet have never been champions either. I think I just randomly did that just for the video real quick. But if you look at TNA Impact, you will see there's nothing in contract length. That's because WWE is my Alive universe mode. TNA is also Alive, but TNA is, even in real life, are kind of private with their contracts. So I like to keep TNA quite flexible in terms of, like, this is my base roster. Now, I don't actually use John Moxley. This isn't fully up to date. I swapped John Moxley for Jay White, personal preference. And in terms of booking, what I will do is the exact same thing as I do on WWE. There'll be some people who will go to blue. Obviously, I'm running a tournament between these 8 to determine the TNA World Championship. Then what will happen is, I don't know where Samoa Joe is, but this isn't accurate. But say, for example, I need some inactive people. Karrion Kross can go inactive for a month. I'll narrow it down to 6, exactly like I do. And this is not accurate. I'm showing you what I do. So blue, they're just not there. They're not on TV. They're not on TV. X Division, luckily, I mean, I look to expand this roster before the January 1st launch, and it will probably be double this size. But I look to, I don't know why Kairi Sane's in there. That's just random. Don't actually. Let me just put Josh Alexander in there. I know he isn't in there, but for the sake of the video, let's just put him in there. And you can check my up-to-date rosters, link in the bio of the YouTube channel. And the TNA isn't finished. What I'll do here is, if there was more than 6, I'd blue or red them. And the Knockouts division is very provisional at the moment. I nowhere near finished this. I'm wanting double this. So it's just about what I can get on community creations. Of course, TNA, when I'm planning TNA, it's a bit different to WWE. I don't have 12 pay-per-views because they're called pay-per-views for TNA. I have 6. And why is this better for TNA? Well, it kind of makes TNA more of a product that you have to watch every week because championships and rivalries culminate and change on weekly television. And that's what I love about the TNA product. It allows me to delve into a different style of booking. And without further ado, we've talked about the rosters. I use TNA a lot slimmer. Same methods. We're going to talk about booking weekly shows or how I book. So the first thing I do is this is a shortened version. I create a document and you can obviously, if you're wanting to expand this, by the way. So obviously I know there's only so many PLEs. You click Control C and then you can insert, well, I'll do it for you, but insert one row below, is it not? Is it not insert a row below? insert one row below, and then you can just copy and paste it, and you have another PLE, and you can edit it and make it the same size. Anyway, besides the point, the first thing I will do when booking my universe mode is, I want you to imagine this is 12 months. I know that's difficult, but I will book all my PLEs, every single one of them. That sounds crazy, right? I know. Does this mean it's set in stone? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean it's set in stone. So, for example, my 2K25, because of when I started it, I had to pick a point where I'd finish it. I thought, what better way to finish it than to leave some suspense at the Royal Rumble. 2K26 will be. So, in my example, 2K26 will be here. I would make a separate spreadsheet for TNA PLEs as well. So, some things to consider when I'm booking my pay-per-views or premium live events, I keep calling them pay-per-views, whatever, is what is the payoff you want. So the Rumble's a great place to start, because you can think, who are you not going to put the title on? I'm going to make Gunther win this. So this is, as you can see, it's a men's Rumble match. I want to go to WrestleMania, have Gunther win the championship. It's just an example. Women, Liv Morgan's not really been active. She could be a surprise. And sometimes what I do, and this is why I give a good example, I pick two people and I'll go back to it, if that makes sense. I'm not going to book out the entire shows. I'm just going to show you a path. So we're going to pick this World Heavyweight Championship path here where the Royal Rumble is. So right now, I don't know, I think CM Punk is my World Heavyweight Champion right now. So what I tend to do is I tend to change these to World Heavyweight Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, even if it's a War Games match. World Heavyweight Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, yep. So that would be World Heavyweight Championship, because it's related to the world title, innit? Essentially, when I write World Heavyweight Championship, that does not mean the World Heavyweight Championship is defended on every single PLE. What that signifies to me is I've put something in place on a special show that is involved in the premium live event, involved in the World Heavyweight Championship picture. So all of these, I'm not saying they always have to be the main event either. I'm just saying it's easier to follow if you do it this way. So if CM Punk's my champion, we're going to start off with a World Heavyweight Championship normal match. Title match. Let's just put Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. Now, I've got a start and I've got a finish, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So my plan in this instance is going to be, I want to be aiming towards CM Punk versus Gunther at WrestleMania. That is my what I'm going for. So obviously we can have CM Punk retain. WrestlePalooza, you just need something around the World Heavyweight Championship. In your head, you know that Gunther's going to win the Royal Rumble. So what you can do is you can have a rivalry match. And I'm going to pick Gunther versus Ilya as an example. And this is not, like, obviously when I'm booking, I take a lot of time. I pick the story. There's so much detail. This is just provisionally. Survivor Series comes up. I don't need a direct championship, but what I can do, match. But what I can do is I can do War Game Team Cody versus Team Punk. In this instance, I'll put Team Cody over because what that will do is that will allow me to run the match back. And then I'll do a title match again. Cody, Punk. And this is just and then Punk will win again. And then that builds us to here. This is obviously surrounding the World Heavyweight Championship match. You can have a World Heavyweight Championship match on here. I personally, and this is all preference, I don't. I have the Royal Rumbles, and what I do is I probably do mid-card title. I like rivalry matches as well, non-title feuds. So once you've got your PLEs set up, I do this for TNA for everybody. I write every single, and you can see here the layout I've got. I have gone Hunter, Hurst, Helmsley. I've gone soft, all right? I've gone to 4-match PLEs. I'm sorry, a 5-match PLEs. I'll talk a little bit more about my breakdown in terms of segment, match 2, when we go on weekly shows. This is my structure. and I always 50% book segments, 50% book matches. My product is in sports entertainment. It's not a sport, so I don't want to overwhelm you guys with 2 hours worth of matches. I want you to be invested in the characters I make, the stories that I write. So these segments are important. So obviously, in my universe mode, I have an Intercontinental US Championship. So, for example, here, US Championship. What am I going to do at Christmas Chaos for the US Championship? It could be literally, it's Christmas Chaos. LA Knight's my US Champion, appears as Santa. Backstage. That's it. But I've shown my United States Champion. He could have a confrontation with someone. Let's just say confrontation with Seth. Well, as Santa, bit of comedy, but it keeps the US title picture sort of alive. Tag Team Championship. So what I do is I alternate between tag team / women's mid card. That's how I do it. Then I have rivalry Raw, rivalry SmackDown. And then let me just move that out of the way, and then I'll have Women's World. So this is kind of a structure that I make for my PLEs. I cannot remember exactly because I spent so much time doing it. But this is a structure I would have for a PLE. The Women's World segment is I don't know. Lyra tells Julia to watch her back. This could be a non-title rivalry, so I'm going to just do one that I've done before. Not Kiana James, what am I doing? Kiana James. It's so I've had a non-title. Can't type, sorry guys. Versus Steph. So I've had that for Raw. I've had Alistair versus only a mini feud, but I'm just going to use it. And then tag team could be whatever. So now we're going to weekly shows. Now, I don't know if you can see here, but obviously I divide the PLEs. So what you can do is on here, where it says title match, change it to the brand that it is. So this is a Raw segment. This is a Raw segment, so it's going to be red. In this instance, I'd make it a blue segment because I've got 2 blue segments. I always try and do 3 and 3. And it alternates, so if I do the men's mid-card on one, I do the women's on the next, if that makes sense. So here you can see I've got a 50-50 split. 3 segments, or just 3 things from Raw, 3 things from SmackDown. We're going to focus on Raw, so we've got Alistair, Rusev, LA Knight. So I go to my match card. I have designed this for you guys to make really efficient, quick episodes. 3 matches, 2 segments. Already, 3 of these, you're going to highlight a different colour. You're going to highlight them a different colour. These 3 segments, I mean, they can be anywhere on the show. I always recommend doing one as the opening. Are essential. These 3 segments, so let me see what we've got. So we've got Rusev. What is it, not typing, or is it a... that's why. Let me change the colour of it, because I can't see what I'm typing. Let's make it a nice purple. So we've got the Rusev versus Black rivalry. Now, I write at that at the top in this little bit. I can do anything around this. It could be a completely indirect match. Rusev takes on Ziggler. And then I'll write some notes if he interferes or anything. Then what I'll do is US Championship. Here at the start. Now, these are not featuring, but I'll have tag team / women's tag team. Something to do with the tag teams. Rivalry 2. So rivalry, weekly. So I'm just going to write that as, and then we've got the World Heavyweight Championship picture. So what I'm going to do here is, what I would do is I'd copy this and I'd paste it. So you can see Saturday night's main event. Usually it'd be 4 weeks. But I can see I've always put the PLE where it is in the calendar. I've got 2-week build. And WWE doesn't do this enough in real life, so don't refer to real WWE. You have to do this yourself. Every person who is going to feature on this Saturday night's main event should feature on the weekly shows in some format, direct, indirect. So we're gonna have that, and then we're gonna start with the Rusev Black rivalry. Black attacks Rusev mid-match. Just a very vague. There's no detailed story details here. And then so we're gonna change this. So we're gonna make it so that there's a backstage brawl heat between them. Then Adam Pearce makes official match. So there you go. Usually I do it in 4 weeks, so it'd be a bit of a slower build, but I'm trying to give you like a crash course. When I'm booking a PLE, the first thing I do is I book all the PLEs. So as you can see, just by this. So I'm aiming for Gunther versus Punk at WrestleMania. I've got a feud here with Cody. And when we go back to the roster, I can see that I've got Cody and Punk active. How can I utilize the other four for this period of time that are active? Well, I'll make them have potentially weekly rivalries. I could potentially move Randy up and move like Ilya down to speed to get some wins under there. There's so many methods that I do. Once I have my PLE set up and all the provisional matches that I want to see, what I'll then do is I'll take a match, and exactly like I did here, I'll see how many matches are on each show, and I'll highlight them a different colour, and it will force me to book something to do with that. Direct, indirect, whether it's as little as a pop-up graphic of a social media tweet. For the for the World Heavyweight Championship, you could do Cody calls out Punk on X. That it could be as little as that. It could be as little as that. But when booking your show, what's important is it's consistency and not forgetting about building stories. I will do a different video about how I come up with the ideas for stories. This is so subjective, and you'll see a lot of guides out there on YouTube from other people that tell you like examples of the best storylines. The truth is the videos are just useless because there is no best storyline. Everybody's unique, everybody's individual, and I can give you tips on sort of what I do, but it's very difficult to tell you what I think would work for you, if that makes sense. But this video was just on booking. I hope you did find something useful. It's a kind of a crash course into how I book my universe mode. Obviously, I spend a lot more time booking my universe mode. There's a lot more intricate details that I do. There's things like international PLEs that I plan, and I'll just briefly touch on that. I use, like, for example, a third of my PLE year in WWE, which would be... So, Saturday night's main event, I don't count as a PLE, so 12. The big four are obviously not going to be international, so that leaves 3 of the 8, so a third. So I either go a quarter or a third. So for example, this year 3 out of 12 PLEs are held internationally. 1 in Australia, which was Crown Jewel. I've got 1 in Europe, and I believe I'm gonna have 1 in where is it, Asia, I believe. So that's how I plan my universe mode. I hope it hasn't forced you guys to restart or anything. If, like I said, this spreadsheet, you see I've already shared it, available. File, make a copy, edit it how you want, insert logos. It's pretty easy to edit. You've got everything you need here in terms of planning. It's not a fancy spreadsheet. You can customize it till your heart's content, but hopefully it does give you guys a little bit of guidance. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been WrestleVerse. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.